So I was having a conversation with one of my coworkers the other day, and we were talking about our own individual journeys from becoming a boy to becoming more of a man and being a man of substance, someone who has the will to succeed. And there are two principles that I'm going to explain to you that we talked about in that conversation, and it's something that can actually completely transform you in 2024. And they're pretty simple, but once you actually master these two principles, it will do wonders for you in the future. So, the first principle is self awareness. Now, self awareness is pretty much the cornerstone of self improvement. If you don't have self awareness, then it's unlikely that you're actually going to make any sort of meaningful progress, and that you might actually be on a decline if you don't actually have some level of self-awareness. Now, how do you become self-aware? You become more self-aware from being reflective of your own actions and think deeply about the actions that you've taken and seeing if they're in accordance to your own ambitions or goals. Now, an example of this could be, let's say you're sitting in your university lecture. Now, lecture is about to end in like 5 minutes, and you're thinking about whether you should go to the gym or not. And let's say that you haven't been to the gym in 3 weeks. You're you've been procrastinating. You've been telling yourself, you know what, I'm gonna go the next day. And the next day comes, and you say, you know what, I'll go in 2 days' time. And eventually, you never actually get to try to achieve your goal of having this this super good physique that you saw on your Instagram reel the other day. You want to achieve a fantastic physique, but you're not actually putting in the work to achieve that kind of physique. And let's say in this circumstance, you've looked back and you've seen that you've actually been procrastinating super hard. Now, this is what is self awareness. Once you have some level of self awareness, the next principle that you need to focus on is setting standards for yourself. We can say that standards is the frame that we set ourselves. Standards is the consistent beliefs of how we interpret life as we see it. Now, you have standards right now because they're dictated by your own beliefs. Now, the question arises is that if you want to change your standards, that means you have to change your beliefs. But how do we change your beliefs? One of the mindset strategies that I employed a couple years ago during the pandemic is wanting a life of abundance. And the way to dictate this idea is to embody it in your own words and your thoughts. If we take the gym example again, and you've been saying, well, you know what, I'll skip today. I'm gonna go tomorrow, but then you never actually end up training. It's been a month, and you've actually done zero training in order to get that physique. Instead of saying, well, you know what, I might go tomorrow, you should instead say, I refuse to give up the opportunity to actually go to the gym after class, given that I have so much free time after class, and that this free time is actually a blessing for me to put in the work to achieve that dream physique. Now, if we look at the second line, the difference is that you have something at stake, and what's at stake is your own honor and the promises that you set yourself in order to achieve your own personal goals. More commonly, where you set standards is in terms of attracting women and in terms of your own relationship and dating life. And for me, what I found is that when you set standards in this area of your life, then it's going to have a more profound effect on the other areas of your life. So if you set your standards with attracting women and what kind of women you want to pursue, then that will also play a part in creating standards for other areas of your life. And if we look at the vast majority of guys, they're always thinking something around the lines of, oh well, how do I attract this girl? What do I say to attract her? What can I do to make her fall in love with me? Now, the problem with this is that these guys don't have any standards for themselves, and they also lack self-respect in that they're just pursuing women without actually thinking about their own selves and thinking, what good does pursuing this woman actually do for me? And this is where you have to set standards. And there are thousands of videos out there that are titled, oh, do this to make her fall in love with you. If you say this, she is definitely gonna fall in love with you. Instead of saying what can I do to impress her, you should instead be saying what would she need to do to impress me? And instead of saying how do I appear as more as an alpha male to this girl, why don't you instead ask yourself how do I express myself in the most authentic way possible towards her? If you're trying to be this kind of alpha male and you're trying to be someone that you aren't, then what really is the point? The girl is going to be more attracted to your fake image than your own authentic self. So what kind of standards are these? These are standards of whether she fits into your needs and values as a man, rather than the other way around where guys are not setting their frame and instead of they're just incessantly just pursuing women instead of thinking about what they would do for their own personal needs if they were to, get into a relationship or start dating. Bottom line is that if you set standards for yourself, you're not only going to increase the quality of your life, but you'll increase your self-respect. And when you increase your self-respect, that's when you're going to increase your confidence. And this kind of confidence, when you set standards for yourself, will make you a dangerous person in 2024.